Hi, welcome. In this video, I'd like to take a few minutes to talk about this issue of set points. What I define as set points within the script itself, or how the methods, when I say the word script, I mean how the methods come together to establish relational change, how it's defined within the language of the script. And when I talk about language, it's about intent, dog understanding the intent through the process, through how influence is manifested, okay, within the methods themselves, how they speak clear language to the dog. And this goes into the issue of set points, of what some people will, again, what they do is they establish reward, right? They'll verbalize and reward the dog at certain, finish points, okay, through response, or what they define as marking it, okay, they establish that. But here's the thing. Through how the language of the methodology itself within the relational framework of the relational system, how it establishes itself, how the set points created. So really, the marking itself is happening without speaking, okay, verbalizing, okay. So because of how how they peak, okay. So for example, when you're doing the push-pull method, okay, and it peaks, so as influence is happening, as the pushing and pulling is happening, the intensity of that peak, okay, right where it needs to stop, okay, where it peaks, where it influences the dog's decision-making process at a certain point. You see the head turning in, and so it's peaking right at that point, stopping. That is the set point. That's marking it without verbalizing it. Okay, so the dog actually understands the language of the methodology, the intent. Okay, so just understand. So, but the problem with the verbalization, and here's the problem when people verbalize and want to reward or motivate the dog, look to incentivize the dog, that's problematic based as to how that's defined, what that represents to the dog relationally. The person's always already in the position of weakness. So you're dealing, understand, everything filters through relationally. So you can't, do certain things and think that that is related to some idea about the dog learning without having a relational impact on it. So therefore, certain things need to be removed. Just understand. And it's understanding the depth of this, that, through the language of the methodology, how the method itself defines change, because this is the influence part, okay, of stripping things away like that, is that's how it promotes change in and through the person. It keeps their thinking. Because here's the thing. When the person's rewarding the dog, their thinking's changing. Really think about that, okay? They're at an emotional state. Because here, if I reward the dog, again, it represents something different. My thinking processes are different even within the verbalization of that, based on how I currently think. All right? Just to understand. So it takes on different meaning for different people. And if, someone's already trying to overcome behaviors of the dog, they're in a deficit. So their thinking processes, they ebb and flow certain ways. So when they're rewarding the dog, that's actually control to the dog. Okay, that's weakness to the dog. So and then you get this issue about response. See, there's depth here. Just really think about. You have to kind of go back and forth here a little bit, but then the response issue and the motives don't clean up. Whereas for me, they would. Okay, so there's dynamics here that people have to understand. So therefore, you need to bypass that. Do not, you don't want to follow that path. So the language of the method has set points in it that promote change a certain way. It defines change that way. So the dog knows the intent. So marking is actually happening through how the method itself, how influence manifests and peaks at certain points. It stops. It's like language. It's like sentences. It's like a sentence. Each word is spoken through the method. There's there's a halting or a period, and those are your set points. It's how that's why the method, as the method's done, it has to be very clear. It's really, if you watch how I'm doing it, going from certain positions, it's speaking language, but it's not just flowing together. That's why I tell people, when you're going from, say, a push-pull into a down position, it's got to peak and stop within that push-pull, within that actual method itself to speak that word, okay? It has a set point there, okay? It's influencing a dog's decision-making process within that method itself, within that language. Boom, it stops. Then you go on to the down. And then even the down happens, and then there's another set point, stops with the down. Then there's another push and pull into a down position, That's another set point. That's another part of the language of the method. It's having an impact again on the dog. And so it's just about the intent of everything. So understand it's about these set points, marking, all these different things, but mixed up in all that, understand it's having a negative impact on the motives of the dog when you conform to that way, that interpretive script. Okay, that learning-based narrative is a problematic based at the relational level. And see, people are just caught up on a response. Well, there's more than that. It's not just about the response of the dog. It's about the motives of the dog and how that's defined through what's already been established through that dog owner. See, it's understanding how change is promoted, all these different things. So you can't, if you do that, you're going to have problems. I'll tell you that right now with a lot of people. Okay, it's not about, and here's the problem with trainers, they get too self-focused, way too self-focused, and they can't see these things because I think they're too selfish or something. Like they, for example, I could train dogs, and yeah, I could do, I could get away with certain things. That's not the point, okay? People are coming to me for help, and these trainers should be figuring this out. They should be saying, what's going on here? Is it just this whole look at me thing, or is it, so anyway, that's the take on it. I don't want to go down that road. I mean, because to me, it's very upsetting because these trainers should be getting this, honestly. So anyway, getting back to this thing about set points, yeah, you want to strip that away because it's about understanding how to get people out of a deficit, okay, to make them think different, to change the perceptions of the dog. You want to strip that stuff away. Do not conform to the learning script whatsoever. Anyway, thanks for watching.